Hi, everybody. I'm Pam, the Messenger of Love, and I want to welcome you to my Shine From Your Soul YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be channeling a message from Betty White, and we'll be talking with her and seeing what message she wants to bring in, and then we'll have a moment when she connects and does more of a direct channeling through me. So I want to remind you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you can be aware of new videos that are coming out, because I'm going to be bringing a lot more content. There'll be messages from spirits. I'll be talking a lot about spiritual topics, how to manifest things in your lives, how to balance your energy and align your chakras and find your purpose in life. And so tonight I'm connecting to Betty White, and I have been feeling connected to her quite a bit since she has passed. I did feel her energy did exit rather quickly. I don't think she had any problem going through that process of crossing over. I know that sometimes spirits will have different ways of doing that, and sometimes people are not ready to go, but she lived a long life. So that's one of the things she wanted to talk about, is how she was here for a long time, and she wants to show you how it's kind of funny how she just, she stayed around for such a long time to like really do all these different things that she wanted to do and have fun and laugh and be with her friends and all of that. And so she just wants to kind of make a joke about it, almost like it took me a long time, didn't it? Like she really was really enjoying things here. So as long as she was learning and enjoying things, she would still be here for a little bit longer. And of course, we wonder why she didn't stay until she was at her 100th birthday. But she was, in her mind, she was already there. Like she felt like she did accomplish that. She was, already had done so many things that really, what does the time matter? Because we don't have any such thing as time anyway. That's just a concept that's in the physical plane. So a lot of her energy is very soft, and it feels like she has a very nurturing quality. She has that funny side of her, but it's also an energy where she is just very loving, very open. I just feel a lighthearted energy with her. Like she really wants to talk and be sweet and kind and remind all of y'all to remember to be kind to yourself and not be so hard on yourself and find ways to laugh more. That's one of her big messages, is to see what you can do to be more lighthearted and have lighter ways in your life where you're just not taking things as seriously. Don't worry as much. Don't worry about the future. Don't get so high strung and, worried about all the details and things like that. I think one of the things that she wants to remind you is something that allowed her to go into that space of being funny and being personable with people and being kind to herself and just letting things flow, is because she was doing things that she enjoyed to do. So like if she was following her career path or calling, then it's something she enjoyed, she would have more of that easier energy. There was no like sometimes you fight the energy and you push against something, or you want something too much, or it's not the right timing or whatever it may be. And for her, she just went with the flow of things that were happening. But she does want to mention that there was a lot of good things that happened to her. She felt quite lucky at times, actually. And there was a lot of things that happened to her that were just kind of meant to be, little synchronicities that would happen, but she would meet the right people or be at the right place at the right time to take on different roles or different parts of her life. So those things just kind of worked out the way they should. They just happen to be there. And she did enjoy filling up her calendar and doing a lot of things with people, even if it wasn't acting. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was hanging out with friends, or if it was like going and helping somebody, or, talking to people to help them in some way. She would do different things that made her feel like she was still keeping busy with her life. And she did that for many, many years. She did that for a long time and didn't really feel like age mattered to her. She saw herself as younger. And so that's kind of interesting. And she wants to point out that, no matter which picture and image you're looking at from her, to remember that her spirit is a younger spirit, that she feels that and has felt that for her entire earth existence as Betty White, but also as she crossed over to still feeling that younger energy. And really, when you're being young and being in that feeling of being kind of like a kid and, enjoying life and laughing and just hanging out with really good friends and things like that, then you are really keeping your frequency higher so that you can have the best life and be, physically well and feel well emotionally and mentally and be open spiritually to things that should come to you. And if you really think about it also, if you take it further, when we talk about our energy frequency and raising the vibration, our DNA will be amplified and be at the right frequency for us to have a very full expression of all the things that are possible for us when we are in that lighter energy, which comes from us just being aligned with our truth and being happy. And so she wants to say that it's really quite simple to be in that place, to be happy and feel like almost like a happy-go-lucky thing. And she keeps bringing up the word lucky. And this is interesting because this has been repeating to me for the past couple of days. So there's definitely a connection here. I woke up today with the numbers 777 coming to me, and that to me just reminds me of, lucky numbers and lucky number 7. And then I also noticed a license plate that said lucky today. So that was interesting that all these things are tying in, and she's trying to show us how we make our own luck in a sense. It's like we open up to it by kind of exploring what we want to be and who we want to, be around, who do we want to bring into our world, and what do we want to experience. And that's how we create the magic and the luck and all of that. But she does want to say that sometimes you are born in a way where you're born with a guiding star or a purpose that does seem like you're on a luckier path. But oftentimes what happens is spirits will come here with a very clear purpose, and they will implement it very early on and stay true to it and stay focused on it, because for this particular lifetime, they were needing to amplify that a lot and learn a lot from that experience. So they will really keep that as their focus and not get off track. And so that's what she's trying to say, is she came in here knowing that she would need to do things that really made a difference for people, to get them into their hearts more, to make them feel connected to their souls more, to feel it's almost like when have the feeling of coming back home after you've taken a vacation, or maybe you're eating a good meal with friends and family and it just feels soothing. That's the energies that she's talking about. It's just feeling really comfortable in your own skin, and like you have that comfort zone, that place where you can go to. So for her, she did find that she had this a lot. Her comfort zone was kind of within her own world in a smaller way. So it might be in her own home, maybe she was reading books or just kind of doing activities that she felt like were things that made her feel good. But then other times her feeling in that higher energy would come from interacting with friends, or stepping out and doing something for the public in a way that people could see how she was connecting to them. So she would kind of do different versions of that. And so she didn't have just one way. I think she at times could be extroverted and other times more introverted. And so she had a couple different sides to herself. And she also talks about how she had a side that was a little more, casual and mellow, and maybe that she didn't, need to try that hard, or, didn't have to worry about what she was wearing as far as clothing or, what she was doing. But then there was another part of her that enjoyed, the nice things in life, and she would enjoy kind of different colors for her clothing, or, jewelry or certain designs and things like that. But she always remembered through all of that to be humble and to be down to earth and to be connected to the earth and open to people all being different, but yet unique in their own way, and in a way allowing them to be who they are in front of her and accepting them so that they would be able to be more of that higher version of themselves. She just allowed people to be who they were. She also talks about her connection to her husband. Alan is who she mentioned, and she talks about how this connection was so strong that now that she's on the other side, she wanted to describe it to y'all and let you know that this is a good example of an eternal connection that doesn't go away. She felt like she could always feel his energy even when he was not with her on the earth. And now that she's on the other side and she's able to connect to him again, it's like there's no time that has passed between the point of when he left to now. And so they're just kind of reconnecting back where they were at that point in time. And, just reminiscing and having a little adventure right now, trying to, see what they want to do next, because they have this way that they travel together through different lifetimes. And so they came in together in this life to show people this kind of love connection that is something that can stand the test of time, is what she's saying. And so it's like a soulmate energy. It's at a much higher level, though. It's for a purpose. It's to show people what love can be. And so she did have to then move on with her life in a way where she was still doing all the things that she wanted to do after he left the world. But she felt like that didn't take away from her strength as a strong woman in the world and doing things that she wanted to do. Of course, she missed him dearly and she wanted to have him with her, but she also realized there was so many things that she was still here to do, and she didn't want anybody to take away from that by feeling like she needed support from someone just to be able to be herself. Like, she felt like she was strong in her own right and didn't need that extra support. That doesn't mean she didn't have friendships at that time to connect in that way, but she just felt like there was just no way for her to bring in another love connection that would be at that level and be able to be something that would help her continue on her path in this life. She just enjoyed just kind of being free in a sense, just not having anything that she needed to be as far as expectations in the world, just going where she felt like she was drawn to go for different adventures. So if she was doing an acting role or, volunteering or whatever it may be, she was doing things that she felt like would make her happy every day. And so that was very important to her. She had a lot of adventures in her life. She did things that were a little bit outside of the box. She took her characters and she kind of developed them in a way that they became a little bit more than they would have been otherwise. She didn't let anything stop her from that. So she's saying, if there's a way that maybe you're holding yourself back, think about how you can let that go and begin to find your true self and your self-expression and what that might be. Whether that is the way that you express your words, the way that you dress, what you believe in, what causes you follow in the world. Think about what you want to leave behind and how important it is to be you so that you can give back, because you're the only one that can do what you do. You're the only one that has the gifts that you have. So she just wants to remind everybody to be more in that element of just being yourself, just keeping it simple. And if you really take time to just let go and do that and just let everything be what it is and let the divine timing step in, things can be so much easier. It's like you start to notice where those moments where you're pausing a little bit more, you start to notice that things will come towards you to communicate to you and let you know, hey, is this something that you might be interested in? So she did keep busy with life and she did a lot of things, but she also, allowed some of that time for things to happen that were not maybe scheduled to. So like there was a little bit of both. But she was a very, very devoted to her craft and to her work and her passion, because that's what was filling her with so much joy. And so she did put a lot of effort into it. She wants to say that she didn't, though. She did not in any way let Hollywood or anything that was a part of that industry take away from who she was. She was always being the person she wanted to be as an actress, as an advocate. She wanted to be herself and not follow what others thought that she should do, to change her identity in some way, or to focus on more of the money part of it, or, to consider more of the fame part of it. She didn't want to be concerned with any of that, because for her, she was partly a little bit old school in her thinking, in the sense that how she grew up, things were more simpler, and it wasn't, to seek out those things. So it was not the way we are now, where we have a lot of social media and things like that, to where people may be more in the limelight who normally wouldn't be. And so she was just doing what she felt she was good at, where her talents were. So she felt like she was giving back and showing people this character and all these different things that she did to show what that character could become. Like, so in one case, maybe the character was, a little more funny and kind of kooky, if you will, a little more down to earth. And another one might be a little more, forward thinking and open to different ways of doing things in a time when maybe women didn't have a voice. And then more in the modern things that she did, I would say it was kind of a cross between the old versus the new. So it was like old ways of thinking meets new ways of thinking for what women can accomplish in their lives and in Hollywood. So she is aware that there is a lot of different things that have happened within that sphere that some people have experienced that are more negative. But she wants to say that she just tried to look for the positive things and to follow that path, and if she did notice those things, she would probably have been more, how you would say, like maybe a little more aware of it, to maybe warn some people away from it, if she knew there was somebody that was going to cross paths with an experience. But she also knew that there was things that she couldn't do either. There were some limitations on what she could put her voice on. So, maybe there were ways that she wished she could have spoken up more to reveal things, or to help people not get kind of absorbed into the Hollywood bubble that creates a real false identity for people and really weird expectations, to where they end up having issues with, more addictions and burnout and ways that they're taken advantage of or abused in different ways. And so she acknowledges that that is true, that it's in that industry, but it's also everywhere across the world. So she just wants to mention that it's not just in that particular industry, but it comes across stronger there because there is such a big pull for the power of money. And that's where that comes from, because oftentimes money does cause people to change their perspectives and go into trying to gain power through money and more of a darker element. So that she just wants to mention that she did observe things, and she thinks right now we're moving through this even bigger shift. So we're going to these more modern times, yet we're also going backwards and healing things and trying to figure out, how do we continue our journey? How do we shift our energy to be more in the state of love and be kinder to each other and just see each other as though we are friends to each other? We're all connected in every way. So she knows that right now we're going through that big shift, and it'll get more and more over the years. And in, maybe even further out, maybe 100 or 200 years from now, it'll be a bigger shift where people will start to realize that there's things that are important to them that maybe they've put aside, and maybe there's a simpler way of being that's a little easier and doesn't cause all that stress and, worry and concern about money and things like that. So she just wants to let y'all know that you are part of a big collective shift, and the more you can tune in your frequency to what feels right to you in that happier vibe, be more connected to love and share love with others, send love to the world, be more in a meditative state, just do things that really bring out that childlike feeling in you, that bring out that feeling of being connected to angels and the source of love, then you'll be able to contribute towards this bigger shift. So I think what we're going to do is, after I pull a few cards for Betty, we're going to get a message from her, and then I'm going to have y'all go through a connection with her to go ahead and shift this energy. So she's going to help y'all do this so that you can see how she is part of this new frequency. And that's why she was here for so long, but then as she's leaving, she's now bringing it back to still stay here with y'all to help you shift. So one of the cards I pulled, which is interesting because this is exactly what she talked about, was saying you are your greatest gift. So you're the gift, right? Your power, your inner strength, your love within your heart, the energy you carry, you are the gift to the world, to everyone. You have so much to bring to help be another light worker, to be another helper in the world, a guide to someone. It could be a simple thing. It could be just going and you go about your day, maybe go to the store or whatever it is, and you touch someone that way. It could be on a bigger scale. It could be that you're teaching others and leading a class. Maybe you're writing about it. Maybe you've decided to do something that you're really talented at and you're going to put it out into the world in some way. So just know that she's saying, I see your gift. The universe sees who you are. And when you can be real clear on that, then you can see how you will be on your path, and, the universe will work with you more to bring things that need to come in. So I pulled a few other cards as well. So I decided to pull a numerology card to describe Betty's life, and the card that came out was self-love. And so with self-love, this to me talks a lot about how she really made an effort to make sure she was giving to herself first, that she was really taking care of herself. And I'm sure if she could describe it to you, she would probably say that there were times that maybe she didn't allow it to come in. Maybe there was times that she did struggle too, but she always went back to that. Does this feel good to me? Is this the right thing for me? Do I really want to do that? Or do I want to go in a different direction? And so she wants y'all to really tap into your own strength, your own self-love, and decide on a few things that maybe you can start bringing out in your life and allowing yourself to be kinder. Even if there's just things, sometimes we're hard on ourselves because things don't go quite right, or we feel like we don't make the best choices. But she's saying, let that go. Just let that go. And bring in a few things every day that you can do that make you feel that joy, that light up your life a little bit more. She also, for the cards, also got the Angel of Harmony. And so, listening. This is the Angel of Listening. And so for listening, to me, this card started to remind me of how I felt like she had this knack of knowing when to talk and knowing when to listen, and really hearing people from a deeper place, so that it is something that she's really taking in and doing something with that information, and then using it to, have an interaction, to have an experience with that person. So she's also talking here about listening to your own voice and listening to what is within you as well. So she had this angelic quality that she would have within her where she would listen to herself within, and then that would then expand to where if she was with somebody else, then they would understand how they could listen to themselves, and she would in turn like hear them as well, like they were tuning into each other. So she just had this very strong quality of getting people. She was really good with people, and they did, feel that warmth from her and the way that she trusted them. And that just made it easier for them to heal and to also release anything that might have been, something they were holding on to. So she was sometimes just in the presence of somebody and that would happen. And then I pulled a card that spoke of guidance. And so right now she's trying to bring in a lot of guidance for y'all to kind of know where you're going to go next. Where are you going to sail in your life? What is the next energy? And we're going to do a clearing at the end and connect to that higher energy. And that's one of the cards that came up as well. So this will bring in a lot of good energy for you, abundance energy, and everything that you need to connect to. I also decided to see what archangels I felt were coming in really strong. And I pulled a couple of Archangel Michael cards here. So to me, that feels like there's a really strong, just basic anchoring of energy for people to be protected and grounded and to feel like they're doing their, I guess holding their light and doing their own energy work. And I just want to speak to, if anybody is watching this video and you've been interested in doing energy work, maybe you're already doing energy work on yourself or others, you're an energy healer of some kind. She wants to bring a message to you because she is aware that you have been working on this, and she wants to acknowledge that you are tapping into an energy that's going to shift a lot of people. So continue to do that work. And this is a card that I pulled that describes this energy healing work right here. And as you can see, the light's coming out, and you can use different types of prayers and meditations and use your hands in different positions to kind of bring in that energy more. You can do Reiki healing. So whoever is listening to this that is doing energy clearing work, she wants you to find a space to do the work in a way that allows for more pure energy to come through. So whether that is doing something with candles, or you use sage or crystals, or have certain music on, bring in a certain space for that as you're learning that, as you're growing that energy clearing work, so that it can become a little bit more, and begin to tap in more to your guides and angels and ask them to come in to help you. Because those that are devoted and committed to doing this work will be given the tools and be a channel of that light to help that come in, because there are so many that need healing at this time on different levels. So what I'm feeling is those of you who are listening to this video are tapping into that higher level energy, and a lot of it is for clearing trauma and emotional energy. So if you are thinking about going on that path of doing energy work, just know that your focus will most likely be on clearing old emotional energy and trauma that people have gotten stuck into. And that's very important work, and it can be difficult for people to work through those things. So it's good that we have light workers on the planet who are doing that work. A couple of words that describe Betty White and what her personality and overall energy was like. One of them is humility. So she knew how to be in the state of just being, open, loving, and humble to things, and knowing that things would come when they were meant to be there. And just to allow that to come in there and be thankful and grateful for all the things that developed, no matter what they were. Because sometimes we forget about the small things that come along our path. And we are trying to achieve so many things that we don't give the gratitude that we need to the small things to appreciate that so we can grow and build other things. And every little thing matters if you think about it. Every thought, every feeling, everything that you experience matters and builds up into that love and joy. And another word that I got for her was joy. And this definitely describes who she was, her smile, everything about her. If you simply looked at her smile, you felt her spirit. You felt a message that was coming from within her that was there to heal and help you laugh and love and live your life to the fullest. She also I pulled a card for her also for something else. And for this, she wants you to know to take ownership for who you are in your life. Take the time to acknowledge what you have enjoyed and what hasn't gone right, and then be more clear about your path. Acknowledge those things that sometimes don't go right too. Take ownership for things like that, because people really enjoy when you're authentic and you can say, I wasn't so perfect at this, because none of us are perfect. And a lot of times we forget that and we strive for things that are just not really meant to be. So she's wanting y'all to know that it's good to sometimes check in and think about what have you done to maybe create your own obstacles at times with energy. What have you done to stop yourself from being your full version of yourself? And sometimes just take ownership for that and saying, well, what am I believing? What am I getting stuck in? Why am I not being kinder to myself? Why am I not just letting go and letting the universe work with me? So she wants y'all to work on that energy to fully embrace yourself and let the universe do more of the work. Because she says, you don't have to work so hard. You can make it a little easier. So a couple other cards that I got for her was Crown Chakra. And this comes from her being, more of a higher being here to come in with a bigger purpose. And also Throat Chakra. And because of the work she did and, being more in the spotlight and speaking more in the way that she did, and having that her throat chakra was kind of her expression of her gift in a way, if you think about it. So that throat chakra was her main, energy. And so that's how she kind of carried that frequency for people to feel. And it also connected to her heart chakra as well. It was coming from that place of love, just to let you know on that one. And then I also pulled a card, Universal Love. So see, that's where the love comes in. So she was using this love energy and she was putting that through her throat chakra. So you definitely could feel that higher plane. And it's almost like, if you can imagine, like people talk about sometimes an angel being on the earth. And I do feel like she had a lot of that energy. And, she's going back to that dimension where she is, full of that angelic love and coming back home to that. So let's talk about her experience a little bit more, about being on the other side and what she has felt that has been like. We're just going to talk to her and see what she has to say about that. So she's describing to me in kind of a funny way, like if you see a movie or somebody talks about this, where they say, oh, all of a sudden there's like this bright light, and then, this happened, and then I saw this person, and then God was in front of me, and there was all these things happening. And she says, there's that, and then there's, another option, okay? So what she's trying to say is there's a lot of different ways that it may happen for somebody. And so it's almost like we've created these movie ideas, if you will, for what that would be. So it's kind of based on our beliefs and our feelings, and what is in our heart is how we will experience that. So she said it really could be anything, it could be something that's, really in that light energy where it's just the light shining on you, to where it's just a party coming home, to, like a fun little circus. It can be anything that you want it to be. And she's kind of making a joke about it too, and just, bringing it down to earth and just saying, it's not this perfect little orchestration, other than it is unconditional love, as far as you opening up to that and expanding that as soon as you were crossing over. So that part of the experience is different for everybody. And then she said when she got over, she crossed over really quickly, like I mentioned before, because she was ready to go for quite a while. And, I think she was aware of there was a certain timing and accepted that was what was on her path. So she could bring that through and allow it to be when it was meant to be. But she probably kind of felt like at times that, wow, I stayed here a little longer than I thought I would, even though she was ready for a while before that. But her soul knew when it was time to leave, for sure, when it was definitely, everything was finished and there was nothing that was left unsaid, and she felt like she did all the things she wanted to do. So she very easily and quietly exited, and just felt a lot of love, and she felt her friends, and gosh, she had a lot of friends that came to greet her, and of course, the love of her life, and a lot of the, angelic and source energy coming to her as well, but also just kind of an expression, like a celebration. She felt like it was a big celebration, not like a crazy party or anything, but just, just something to be like acknowledging how much she really did good things for people and gave back a lot, and just let herself be who she was. So she really was able to reconnect with her other friends that had passed over. And it was like they hadn't really parted, like no time had been in between there. And they just picked up where they left off and had conversations and kind of kidded around, about her being one of the last ones to leave. And so I think that it was just meant to be that way for her, to fully use her time here to do as much as she could to help us shift. And so now when she's on the other side, one of the things that she's doing is she is working with light workers who want to raise their frequency and learn how to do it in a way that they can teach others. So you can tap into her energy. You can tap into whoever you feel called to, your guides, your archangels, and use that energy to create this opening for things to come and to, begin to accept what is within you and just embrace the full person of who you are, your soul self, basically. So right now what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little segment where I'm letting Betty White come in and speak through me more. And she's also going to do a clearing with y'all. So just get comfortable in your space, and we're going to allow her to come through and do a little channeled message and a clearing. Okay, now we're going to receive a channeled message from Betty White, and she's also going to go ahead and do that clearing. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and connect with her, and we'll let her begin to speak to you. I'm so excited to be with you. This is fun, isn't it? Just hanging out. Just the two of us. Just having a conversation. Almost like if you came to visit with me and we sat in the kitchen and maybe had a cup of coffee or a tea. Right now I'm connecting to you through your heart space, and I'm opening up your heart to receive more of the angelic frequency, which is your right to connect to while you are on the earth. I want to thank all of my fans for being there for me and for being honest with themselves and with me about what you desire to experience in the world. I liked when people were real with me, when they weren't trying to be fake. They were just being who they were, being authentic and real. And even if you make a mistake, know that it's okay, because sometimes you can make a joke out of it and make it funny, and then it's all okay, right? See, life doesn't have to be that hard. It can just be one big comedy show. It's what you make of it, and the more you laugh, the lighter you become, and the lighter you become, the more you feel love. And the more you feel love, the more you know who you are, and feel that your home of heaven is here upon earth, within you, and all of your experiences reflect that. You are here but for a short time. In a blink of an eye, you will be gone and on the other side, but not gone forever, just going back to that original energy, going back to that holding space of where you feel love the strongest and where you can be closer to the God source, where you can be closer to your loved ones. And I know that you miss us at times. You may have loved ones that have crossed over, and you wonder what it is like for them, or if they are thinking about you, or are you connecting to them at times. And just know that you are at all times. Consciousness is ever expanding and is always present. It does not go away. Just as you are always expanding and growing in your own world. And there are times when you take breaks, and maybe you take a nap or you sleep at night and you dream. And when you dream, you will connect to us more and it'll be stronger. And in that moment, you will get the clarity that you need, because your mind has stepped out of the way and allowed your spirit and your heart to connect to what is right for you, what feels good, what is on your path, and what will bring you more joy every day. It is the simple things in life that matter the most, that will bring you the most joy. When you try to make things hard, it is like you are beating yourself up for things that you don't need to. You are holding on to anger or resentments that don't need to be there. It is much easier just to let things go in the moment. Let things be free. So you can be free like a butterfly and transform your energy into what you desire. And you can always go back and become a new butterfly. On every different twist and turn in life, you can become a new version of yourself and find things that make you feel that you are giving back to the world and others and being more kind to yourself every day. Just know that I am with you on your path, and many of your guides and angels are with you as well to help bring you what you need in this world. And to all the light workers, I want you to know that you're doing great work. Keep up the work. Keep doing everything that you feel called to do. You are a gift to the world. And now we're going to do a little healing with Betty. She's going to bring in a healing energy for you to open up more in your heart space and allow your energy to shift so that you may bring in what you desire and do the work on the earth that you've been called to do, whether that is energy healing or some other part of your life that you need to shift and bring in different opportunities and abundance. So just take a few deep breaths and imagine that a light is surrounding you. And this light is starting out as a white light, very bright, protecting you, surrounding you. And it is allowing your heart to expand. Allow your heart to expand into that light and grow stronger. And as you do that, now the colors will change, and you will see different rainbow colors. You may see pink, you may see purple, or blue, or green. Whatever color you see is meant for you. It is meant to surround your energy, to transform things in your life, to help you at this time, to guide you, to be able to follow your purpose and be true to who you are. Now, in that beautiful rainbow light, I want you to imagine that the source of all love is in that light and is ready to take anything away from you that no longer serves, to shift that energy away. You may let anything that feels that it is traumatic or difficult or something that has created sadness or worry within you, go ahead and place it in the light. And we're going to allow that source energy to transform that energy, to shift it to a higher plane of love. And as that energy is shifting, you will feel lighter and lighter. You will begin to feel more love and peace within your heart. And know that you are safe in this space. You are protected with your angels and guides all around you, supporting you. And now it is time to come back to your body and bring your energy to your heart, and know that you will be fully protected and healed in the light as you go forward on your path. Your energy has now been transformed, and your frequency has shifted to a higher plane which you may hold upon the earth as you do your work as a light worker, as a beautiful soul on the planet. And that was the message from Betty White and the beautiful healing energy that she brought in for us to shift and begin to follow our paths more and know that we are following our purpose in life. I want to thank y'all for joining me for this message from Betty White. And if you want to reach out to me to receive a reading or a healing session, you may go to my website at pambarsh.com, which you can find in the description below. And also, just keep in touch with me. Get on my email list. You can get a free ebook. And if you do that, you'll know about all the things that I'm doing. I do a lot of classes and workshops online where you can learn more about your spiritual purpose, how to connect to your angels, how to tap into healing energy. And I just want to thank y'all for joining me and wish you much abundance on your path of light. Thank you.